Hello there, welcome to the Football Bloc. My name is Brandon, and today I'm going to give you my reactions to the USA's opening game of the 2025 Gold Cup against Trinidad and Tobago, which resulted in a 5-0 victory. So if that sounds interesting, let's hop right into it.
One step beyond.
So the U.S. has played their first match of this edition of the Gold Cup. It was against Trinidad and Tobago, a team that has had a lot of history with the U.S., some really good from an American perspective, and some really bad as well. This game ended up as a 5-0 drubbing, and we're starting to see this recurring appearance where every single time the U.S. plays Trinidad and Tobago for the past few years, it's 4-0, 5-0, 6-0. In fact, at the last Gold Cup in 2023, the U.S. played Trinidad and Tobago in the group stage and also won 6-0. There was no Jesus Fajeda around this time to score a hat-trick, though. He is in the Club World Cup with the Seattle Sounders, actually. Now, there's a lot of questions to be asked about this game. From a U.S. point of view, is this a positive result? Is this a turn of fortune, or does this kind of just paper over the cracks? I think overall, when you win a game like this, especially when you win a game with such a heavy margin, it's always a positive. That's always a great thing. It's always, good to have 3 points on the board. The United States needs to have a good show at this Gold Cup, and this is the first step in that direction. However, you can't really take too much out of it beyond that point. This is a team, like I said, that the United States has been heavily over the past few years. Yes, there has been some occasions in the past. Who can forget the famous game against Trinidad in 2017, which stopped the U.S. from qualifying for the 2018 World Cup. But this is a much different team. There's one or two players still around from that Trinidad squad, but for the most part, it is a completely different team. You can just see this Trinidad team has heavily declined over the past few years. We've seen them qualify for the World Cup, at least in my lifetime. I wasn't old enough to really remember it, but they were at the 2006 World Cup, for example. They have heavily declined since then. So this was expected to be a convincing and easy win for the United States, which it was. In terms of the particular players, Diego Luna and Malik Tillman, I think, were the two standout players. Every player on the pitch played well, in my opinion, but Diego Luna is really settling in to his role as a number 10, as a creative force. He's just a very fun player to watch, a very good addition to the team. To see him, kind of come into the national team setup is a very good addition to have to this team. And then Malik Tillman, it is good to see him coming into form with the U.S. squad, because he's been with the squad for a little bit now. Hasn't always pulled up with performances that match his talent level, but now we're starting to see that, which is good. But even though they did score, you can just see the quality of the goals that the U.S. scored. Not necessarily beautiful football. It's more so Trinidad and Tobago shooting themselves in the foot, which is why ultimately this doesn't really change much, in my opinion. There are still some heavy problems with the U.S., whether it be the squad, just these players don't seem to have the grit and the aggression and the passion that the previous generations had, despite being far more talented. And then also, there are some serious questions to be asked about Mauricio Pochettino. Is he really the right guy for the job? Personally, I thought going into his tenure, I was super excited. I was like, finally, we have a great manager, a guy that has coached some of the best teams in the world, but he really hasn't proven himself yet. Does this win against Trinidad and Tobago answer any of those questions? Absolutely not. And to be honest, throughout the rest of this group stage, we really won't see the U.S. get tested. They're playing against Saudi Arabia in the next match, invited team to the Gold Cup. But this isn't even Saudi Arabia's top squad. A lot of their guys are actually with Al Hilal at the Club World Cup. Some of their most talented players, like Salim Al Dosari, for example, some of their best center backs, and some of their best midfielders as well. So this isn't really a top strength Saudi Arabia. And then the other team in the group is Haiti. And while I think Haiti and Saudi Arabia will be much tougher opponents than Trinidad and Tobago, these are all games that the U.S. should win, in my opinion, despite the fact that this isn't really a top strength U.S. squad either. So it'll be very interesting to see where the U.S. go from here. Elsewhere in the group, Saudi Arabia did beat Haiti, which could mean that the game against Haiti in the last game of the group stage, U.S. will play Haiti. That could make things a little spicy. Haiti sometimes can be just a tough opponent. They play that, typical CONCACAF style, which is sometimes hard to break down. So that will be interesting to look out for. But let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. What did you think of this one here? What do you think of Mauricio Pochettino in charge? And then what do you think of Diego Luna and Malik Tillman in the national team setup? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this video with a friend. Follow the Football Bloc on social media. But anyway, guys, my name is Brandon. This has been the Football Bloc, and I hope you have a nice rest of your night.
One step beyond.